The Tight Five.
Oh, Gunny, bugger off, mate.
Hey,
Can you
be
call Matt?
positive.
Can you call Matt?
Why?
He just said he's got a really important thing to say to us.
On here?
Yeah. I know what he's going to do. He's going to stick it to us, isn't he? This is where you've got to take a big breath, Kiwi sports fans, and you've just got to understand that for every time that we hurt them and humiliate them playing rugby, that this is payback. That's what this is. When we play them at cricket, this is them getting us back for what we do to them at rugby. Didn't answer the phone? That's a blessing.
The Tight Five.
5 separate sporting topics, roughly a minute or so on each. When the bell goes, I bet we've lost another bloody wicket. Raiders beat the Knights last night. You watched it. What were your thoughts? Monday morning. What's happening at 4:30 on Monday morning, Lachlan? You'll be awake.
I'll be awake at 3, mate.
Cricket. Yeah, okay, we've already lost this game, all right? Okay, so, but just, I'm going to ask you about how many runs we're going to get in this first innings. The Wahs are opening a bar in Kingsland off Eden Park. Is that a knee in the rugby balls to the establishment of and the sport in general? Wawa's tonight versus the Sharks. Joseph versus Xi Li Zhang. I just want an update on that because I got a great tweet from somebody listening to the podcast out of Scotland, and he said, Martin, I heard you yesterday. He said, I just got a couple of words about this opponent. He's actually quite a difficult opponent, more than difficult. So just be wary. Okay, I stand. You provide the information. I'm more than happy with that. And a couple more words about Sam Kerr, because the more that comes out about this, the more you realise how despicable her behaviour really was. Let us start here. 88 for 5. Give me a percentage chance, plus or minus 150. Total first innings.
Well, are you asking me if I think we're going to get more or less, or the percentage chance that we get 150?
Give me a percentage chance we get 150.
40%. No. Actually, no. Sorry, I'll say 55. I'll say 60%.
So we now need another...
Because we're already halfway there.
62 runs with 5 wickets to go. One of these guys goes out, the bowlers come in. You know what Southey's doing, don't you?
He's swashbuckling that ball and not even hitting it.
That's right.
Well, Phillips was the silver lining in our first innings last week, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yes.
So there's kind of the hope that he can replicate that. I've been a bit of a defender of Bundles for a long time because he got that ton at the MCG, but that was 4 years ago now.
Oh, really?
Shut up.
Really?
Shut up. And so now I'm just out on him. So no, sorry.
Okay.
Phillips, please save us. Glenny boy.
I think less than 10% we get 150.
Really? Well, we're on 89, mate.
Yeah, well, we've got 5 wickets in hand, mate.
Always notice this about cricket. When it gets to this point, you're like, let's say we end up being 100 for 7, you'll manage to tack on a few more.
Oh, let's hope so. God, that's going to be easy to defend when they start batting, isn't it?
That's not what I said.
Raiders versus Knights last night. 28-12. Raiders!
Great game. Really good game, I thought. I'll tell you what, the NRL, there's no bad games. There genuinely is no bad games.
Well, I got a couple of duds, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on when we play what is more chance of happening. Okay, I got a couple of duds in this round. But is either team making the 8?
Before last night's game, which actually, to be fair, it's not really changing my opinion. I would have said Raiders, I'm pretty certain they won't, and I would have said Knights, likely they won't. I was pretty concerned. Actually, no, I tell you what, the Knights weren't spectacular, but I think it was more good Raiders than bad Knights. The Raiders defensively were very solid. They were really good. But Ricky Stewart, as teams do this, they're never consistent. They're good when you don't expect them to be, and they're bad when you expect them to be good.
I think that's a great win. I think that's a really
It's
good
a very good win.
Very good win
on the
for
road
them.
against a team who finished 5th last year.
What about the
Kalen
Kalen Ponga incident? What did you make of that?
Oh, it was a penalty. I thought the centre betting was a little... Well, no, that's how the game's ref these days, isn't it? Have you seen the footage of it?
No.
Yeah, so essentially what happens is there's a breakaway, and the Knights got a try, but it's disallowed because there was a obstruction middle of the field. But as he passes the ball, he sort of bumps off one defender, nothing wrong with that, and then this, what's his name? Hudson Young comes storming in, and in real time, there's about half a second to a second, which is a fair bit of time, between when Kalen Ponga gets rid of the ball and Hudson Young goes at him with his shoulder. And so even if Kalen Ponga actually holds the ball, it's still a penalty because he's making contact with his head with his shoulder.
Yep.
And so it's worse if he's let the ball go. So I think by the way the game's being reffed or the way it's moving towards how it's going to be officiated, I thought that was a sin bin.
Yeah, okay.
That was my When I saw that, I thought, that's a sin bin.
Take your word for it in that case. No question.
I'm sure Big Bob doesn't agree.
Waughs are opening a bar in Kingsland. So the Holy Hop Bar, which was the neighbourhood bar.
Holy Hop.
Whatever,
Holy
mate.
as in, oh, holy Lord.
Okay, it's not called that anymore. It's called the Warriors Bar or whatever they're going to call it.
What are they going to call it?
I don't know. Up the bars, I reckon.
Damn it, I'm not even kidding. I was just about to say that.
Well, it's,
up the bars.
Up the something, I don't know.
That's great. Up the bars. That should be it.
Should be. I think this is great. I think it's a really good idea for everyone who can't make the game. Because getting out to Penrose sometimes, bit of a pain in the butt.
As long as they play like let's say the Warriors play on the Friday night, but then the next day they have other league games.
Oh, they've got to have other league games.
It's got to be.
I'm not going there to watch replays of old Warriors games. It's got to be a league bar.
It's got to be a league bar.
It's got to be a league bar.
Well, if the All Blacks are on, do they play an All Blacks match?
Well, I
You'd
hope
like to
so.
think they would.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's got to be. Look, but I do think there's a delightful, cheeky element to this, the fact that it's so close to Eden Park.
Yeah.
I said this last year, Lachlan, when we went along to watch the Waughs play the Raiders away from home. The same night, a quarterfinal, the Blues played, I think, the Waratahs.
The Waratahs, I think, yeah.
And
at Eden Park, just down the road from where we were.
We were at Shapiro's sports bar, which you can see Eden Park when you get outside. You can see Eden Park. Yeah. There was no crowd. You remember 20 screens, and at 8 o'clock, 19 of them were on the Warriors.
Well, it got to like 8:01. The screens hadn't changed from the Blues game to the Warriors game, and there were complaints.
Yeah.
And people were yelling out, "What's going on?" Then when they changed the channel,
what about the Roar?
The Roar was
that
incredible.
There were Warriors jerseys all over the place. There
Not
was
one Blues jersey. Not one Blues jersey.
Auckland is a rugby town, and New Zealand rugby, you can sit there with the head in the sand, which is exactly what you're doing.
My first thought, I tell you what, when
the Warriors have captured the crowd, is what they've done.
When I heard from you that the Holy Hop was the bar and it was in Kingsland, my first thought was, why would they take a bar in that area? And I thought straight away, well, I knew why they didn't do it in Penrose and Panmure. You don't want to be in such a dodgy area. My first thought was, is that an indication that they could be moving to Eden Park one day?
Wow.
That was my first thought.
Wow. Well, it would make a little bit of sense at some stage. They've got to get out of
the more they grow.
They've got to get out of Mount Smart at some stage, you would think. Man City, Liverpool, Monday morning, English Premier League title showdown. You're coming back from Prague, the Czech Republic. I'm sorry, it used to be called Czechoslovakia. It's now the Czech Republic. Man City played during the week at home in the Champions League, so they don't have that travel factor.
We are at home. It's at Anfield.
The title won't be decided. But if either team wins...
If City win, the title's theirs.
If Liverpool win, the title's yours, I think, because I don't think City make up what will then be a 4-point gap.
Yeah.
And
it's not as if we've got Arsenal to play. I mean, we still have Villa.
I'm predicting 1-1 or 2-2 here. I think that you're good enough at home with the home crowd behind you to hold them. I'm not so sure you're going to beat them because I don't think they've even lost this year, Lachlan.